The radar scope does not lie. Lieutenant Commander Dara Okafor has been staring at it for 11 minutes, not because she does not understand what she is seeing, because she understands it too well. 2 IRGC HIDAR-1 fast attack craft, bearing 047, range 4,200 meters and closing, speed 94 knots. Their AIS transponders went dark 18 minutes ago. Standard protocol before an engagement, logged 340 times in 8 months without a shot fired. Tonight the geometry is different. Tonight, the closing angle is not harassment. It is an intercept vector. OUD combat, 2 HIDARs on intercept geometry. Request DEFCON Bravo and battle stations. The officer of the deck, Lieutenant Marcus Webb, is already at her shoulder. He is looking at the same scope and feeling something Okafor stopped feeling 2 deployments ago. The specific hold of a situation that has moved past the point of options. DEFCON Bravo authorized. Get the CO. Commander Rachel Strand is on the bridge in 40 seconds. She does not look at the scope. She looks at Okafor's face. 2 HIDARs. Intercept solution. Range 3,800 to 800. 9 minutes on channel 16. No response. Strand picks up the handset. All hands. This is the captain. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. The CIC floods with red light and 73 sailors moving toward positions they could find blindfolded. The ship is a weapon. Right now it is becoming aware of itself. Range 3 hours and 100 meters. The HIDARs are not slowing down. 0311. Local. 6 minutes earlier. IRGC Fast Boat Station Bandar Abbas. Sarhang Farhad Mohammadi does not want to be here. The order came through the IRGC Navy chain in language that sounds like doctrine but moves like panic. Demonstrate capability, assert sovereignty, force a response that justifies escalation. It came from Brigadier General Reza Karimi, who reports to the IRGC Naval Commander, who received instructions from the Supreme National Security Council emergency session, convened 48 hours after Geneva failed. Approach to within 800 meters. Fire 2 warning rounds across the bow. Withdraw at maximum speed. Do not engage American personnel or equipment. Mohammadi is 38 years old. He has a daughter who turned 7 last month, 16 years in the IRGC Navy, and he has never once believed that a HIDAR moving at 94 knots toward an Arleigh Burke with an Aegis combat system and 96 vertical launch cells is anything other than a coffin with an engine. He throttles forward and thinks about his daughter's photograph. Birthday cake, eyes very bright. He thinks, they will fire before we reach 800 meters. He thinks, Karimi has never been on a fast boat at night. He fires at 1,400 meters. Because at 1,400 meters, there is still a chance his rounds pass across the bow and land in open water, and the Americans have a decision to make instead of a reflex to execute. At 1,400 meters, he's giving both sides a second. The 223 Miller rounds cross the McFall's bow at 60 meters. They hit the water on the destroyer's port side and throw up white columns in the dark. For 1.3 seconds, nothing happens. Then the McFall's Mark 45 rotates 11 degrees. 0380, local. USS McFall, CIC. Shots fired. 2 rounds, port bow, close aboard. Are we hit? Negative. Port side, 60 meters. Weapons free on the lead craft. Defensive fire only. Engage. The Mark 45 fires once. A 5-inch 54 caliber round at 2,500 feet per second. Transit time 1.7 seconds. The HIDAR-1 displaces 11 tons. The round does not require a direct hit. It is a direct hit. The explosion is visible from the bridge. Webb watches it and understands, in a way that will take years to process, that the world just divided into a before and an after. The second HIDAR breaks off. At 94 knots becoming 110, running south. CENTCOM, McFall. Shots fired by IRGC fast attack craft. Returned fire in self-defense. 1 enemy vessel destroyed. No casualties aboard McFall. Confirm receipt. The pause is 2.3 seconds. The pause of someone deciding how to tell a room full of generals that the war has a first shot. McFall, CENTCOM, confirmed. Maintain position. Stand by. She puts down the handset. She looks at Webb. Find out if there were survivors. A 0341. Local. Geneva. Hotel President Wilson. Suite 714. Steve Witkoff is in his bathrobe when his phone rings. CENTCOM liaison. He sits up. He listens for 45 seconds. He hangs up. He sits in the dark for 1 minute. Outside, Lake Geneva is perfectly still. Inside his chest, something is accelerating. He dials the number that rings on a desk in the West Wing no matter the hour. It's Witkoff. We have a first shot. McFall, HORMUZ. 35 minutes ago. No American casualties. Yes, sir. I'll stand by. He thinks about Aragchi, 2 floors up, and what Aragchi's phone has been doing for the last 35 minutes. He thinks about the USS Gerald R. Ford, 340 nautical miles southwest and closing. He thinks the Geneva talks are over. The question is whether anyone has told Geneva yet. He picks up his jacket. He walks into the corridor alone, takes the elevator to the 9th floor, and knocks on a door. 0349, local, suite 912. Abbas Araghchi answers in a suit. He has been dressed for 20 minutes. The two men look at each other across the threshold. No translators, no aides. Witkoff says, "You know?" Araghchi says, "I know." A pause containing 88 million Iranian lives and 340 million American ones, and the strait through which 20% of global oil supply moves every morning. Your boat's fired first. My government will characterize it differently. The radar recordings do not care how your government characterizes it. Araghchi steps back. They sit in facing chairs. He pours water without being asked. Old diplomatic reflex. Keep your hands doing something when your mind is navigating the edge of catastrophe. The men who ordered that operation did not consult the foreign ministry. I know who Karimi is. Then you know tonight was not a decision of the Iranian state as I represent it. It does not matter. IRGC insignia, Iranian weapons. The president is briefed in 11 minutes. After that, this table is no longer my jurisdiction. The silence has a shape. Araghchi sets down his water glass with the care of a man who cannot afford to drop anything. What do you need? Witkoff leans forward, elbows on knees. Voice at the register of two men on the edge of a cliff deciding together whether to jump. A direct communication. Supreme Leader's office to the White House. Acknowledging the incident was unauthorized, standing down all IRGC naval assets in the strait for 72 hours before the president goes on camera. Araghchi calculates whether Khamenei authorizes, whether Karimi's faction accepts unauthorized, what the internal price will be when it becomes known, as it always becomes known, whether the IRGC leadership, which sent a boat into the path of an Arleigh Burke on purpose, wants the 72 hours, or whether the first shot was meant to close doors, not open them. I need to make a call. 8 minutes, Witkoff says. Before mine. 0358, local, Tehran, Supreme National Security Council. The room smells like coffee and the specific electricity of men who have learned that a decision they made has detonated outside its parameters. Brigadier General Karimi is standing. Nobody has told him to sit. The order was a warning shot. The Americans fired first in response. The Americans fired second, says the Secretary of the SNSC, in response to your boats firing first. This distinction will not survive scrutiny. One Haidar is a wreck at the bottom of the strait. The second crew will be interviewed before dawn. The Secretary's expression is colder than anger. You gave the Americans their justification. The room knows what justification means. 6 B-2 Spirit bombers at Diego Garcia, 12 GBU-57 bunker busters, flight plans, terminating over Fordo. The difference between a president who must explain a preemptive strike and one who calls it self-defense. An aide bends to the Secretary's ear. Araghchi is calling, from Geneva. The Supreme Leader's representative turns his head. Tell him we need 15 minutes. 0412, local. CIC, USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN 72. Rear Admiral Christopher Sweeney connects to the Ford's CSG commander on the encrypted circuit. Ford is at 310 nautical miles, launch range in 14 hours, 6 if we surge. Sweeney looks at the tactical display, McFall at the strait, the Haidar's heat signature cooling, Iranian mobile missile launchers dispersing across the satellite overlay, moving to pre-planned firing positions, as they have been since the IRGC elevated alert 4 days ago. Hold current speed, we wait for the White House. And if the White House says go, Sweeney thinks about Strand on the McFall. One shot. 1.3 seconds. Correct decision, no casualties. He thinks about what comes after the second shot. If the White House says go, we already know the targets. 0422, local, Tehran, District 3. Nasreen Hosseini has not slept since December, since the protests, since her cousin Dariush was killed at a checkpoint in Mashhad, and her family received a gift card and a warning not to speak to the media. Her phone has been buzzing for 40 minutes with the messages that travel through Iranian telegram when something has happened that state media has not confirmed. U.S. warship, straight, tonight. She goes to the window. Tehran at 4 a.m. is dark and enormous. The Alborz Mountains are invisible but present, the way threats are always present before they materialize. She thinks, if the Americans come, the regime will say it was the Americans who killed us. If they don't come, the regime will say it was strength that stopped them. We are the calculation that neither side is making. A voice note from a friend in Shiraz, very quiet. The strait. It started in the Strait. What do we do? She thinks about her daughter, 4 years old, asleep in the next room, who does not know the world is making a decision tonight about the city she was born in. She types, "We stay together, we stay in contact, we don't go outside." Then she sits on the floor with her back against the wall, an old instinct from December, from the nights when the gunfire was close, and she waits for morning. 0441, local, Geneva, suite 714. Witkoff's phone rings. He listens for 90 seconds. He says, "Confirmed, I'll transmit." In 7 hours, Geneva will be full of tourists eating breakfast beside the lake, none of whom will know that in this suite, a 72-hour stand-down was agreed between two men in a hotel corridor in the last minutes, before a president received a briefing that would have made it impossible. He does not know if it will hold. He does not know if Karimi's faction honors what Aragci agreed to. He does not know if 72 hours produces a deal or simply gives both sides time to position for a war they have now, unmistakably, begun approaching. He opens his laptop. The situation, as of 0441, local Geneva time: 1 IRGC vessel destroyed. No American casualties. Aragci has transmitted a statement to Tehran requesting authorization for a 72-hour IRGC naval stand-down. Authorization pending. Window is approximately 90 minutes. If authorization comes, we resume talks. If it does not, the president's briefing proceeds. After that, this is no longer a diplomatic situation. Recommend CENTCOM hold strike authorization pending White House decision at 0600 Washington time. Witkoff. He sends it. He closes the laptop. The gray is turning pale blue. Somewhere beneath it, or beneath the Arabian Sea, or beneath the mountain at Fordo, or beneath the streets of Tehran, where a woman is sitting on her floor waiting for morning, the answer is being decided by people who did not ask for this and cannot stop it, and will have to live inside whatever it becomes. The first shot has been fired. The second is a clock, and the clock is running.